All right, so this is the first episode of Wade's Yooper on YouTube. So first off, let's discuss what the Upper Peninsula is. It's the Upper Peninsula is also called the UP. It's also known as Upper Michigan. It's the northern of the two major peninsulas that make up the U.S. state of Michigan, according to Wikipedia, as they basically word it. The peninsula is bounded on the north by Lake Superior, on the east by the St. Mary's River, on the southeast by Lake Michigan and Lake Huron, and on the southwest by Wisconsin. So if you live in this area, you're basically a Yooper. Um, you might be a transplant from somewhere else, but if you've lived here long enough, it's fair enough to say you're one of us. So yeah, because of these Sex Pistols, I was originally wanting to do a video called Anarchy in the UP, but there just aren't enough anarchists around here to make it work. So I decided, instead maybe I'll talk about the weather as sort of an opener. So what's it like living up here? What's the weather like? Is it ever crazy? We have severe weather sometimes, but not usually. Stuff like hurricanes. Usually it's, just a winter storm or a blizzard or something like that. We're known for having a lot of snow, but some winters are milder and warmer than others. In fact, this winter has been pretty mild so far compared to some that I've experienced. I would even say it's been pretty warm this year. And actually, if you really want to experience cold weather, I would recommend going to Minnesota or Canada, or I've heard Alaska's also pretty cold. Granted, we sometimes can give them a run for their money. I don't want to make it sound like it's never cold up here, but usually it's, not quite as intense as those other areas that I mentioned. And really, yeah. As crazy as this sounds, some of the worst aspects of UP weather, for me anyway, involve humidity during the summer. It can get pretty humid. And I've been to Florida as a tourist briefly, and this past summer was actually pretty comparable to what I experienced there. And the humidity helped me become willing to accept the oncoming winter, is how I would put it. And there actually was a pretty big flood that occurred last summer, which nobody seemed to predict. I even documented some of the aftermath in a YouTube video with my crappy little digital camera, just walking around, taking a look at what happened. And I actually pretty much dropped whatever other plans I might have had for that day. I kind of had to go out and just, take a look and see what happened. So basically what happened is we got 8 inches of rain overnight then, which caused the destruction of roads, flooding of houses, and I've heard even a few deaths occurred. And even my own street wasn't entirely spared. We have like a four-wheeler / snowmobile trail near our house, and that got pretty much wrecked. So yeah, we're not immune to natural disasters. And it actually seems like, we're called the Great Lakes State. So it seems like the UP has basically just been dodging water-related bullets for quite some time in terms of severe weather. And I did see some of what could be called cascading rapids or floodwaters when I was out surveying the aftermath of the flood. And it was actually pretty intense. I've also heard that waves on Lake Superior can reach heights of 16 to 20 feet. So we're not the Earth's freakiest weather location by any means, but we're not immune to natural disasters. On top of that, despite lack of coverage, it seems we get at least one tornado every summer. And thankfully the UP is a pretty rural area, so there are plenty of places where something like a tornado could touch down and not really do any damage, and possibly not even be witnessed by anybody. And other than the flooding of last summer, I got another weird piece of news. Apparently, the California wildfires were creating some of the cloud cover during that summer. The freaky thing is, I could actually smell smoke in the air while we were talking about the wildfire. It was weird, and but yeah, I could actually. It was crazy. I could smell burning wood all the way from California. You know, the burning of the trees and whatnot. And it showed how connected we are to each other and to the weather and how it's connected to us. You know, we can try to escape extremes as much as we can, but eventually we're probably, no matter where we are, going to face some rough weather. So, if you have any, aside from that, if you have any questions for me as a Yooper, feel free to post them in the comments. Like if you want to, if you want to know, I've heard some crazy things about the UP, and if you want to hear about them, go ahead and ask away. I might not be able to answer your questions, but it's worth a try.